Ahsoka Episode 5 is peak Star Wars, and there's nothing you can say to convince me otherwise. I cannot believe after the disaster of the last 8 years, we now have this level of Star Wars live-action content. So if you stay past the intro, spoiler discussion for Episode 5 of Ahsoka.
Don't get too proud of this technological terror you've constructed.
We got so much amazingness in one episode. First, seeing live-action Ahsoka and Anakin meet, especially in the World Between Worlds, was pretty much a dream come true. Though I still hold some of his de-aging was really weird. It actually looked much better once they were in the flashbacks to the Clone Wars, but when he was in the World Between Worlds, his face looked a little funky. Though, Hayden Christensen's lightsaber skills are insane. He is hands down one of the best actors with lightsaber fighting and choreography. All of his movements were so beautiful, which you would think Anakin would be. He's no longer limited by his body and has all those decades of experience, along with being one of the most powerful Force users to ever live. Of course, he's going to put absolutely everyone else to shame. The flashbacks to the Clone Wars and seeing a child fight like that in the Clone Wars really puts in perspective how messed up what the Jedi did was. They were sending literal children, along with clones that were only years old, to fight in gruesome, chaotic battles. They went from peacekeepers to violent warriors involving the most vulnerable age. It is interesting because previously, when we showed Ahsoka in the Clone Wars cartoon, she generally was having a good time with most missions and flipping around and doing her thing. She did have a bit of remorse, but adult Ahsoka in her young body can now see how truly fucked up the whole situation was, and that the Jedi's legacy was tainted, even without Palpatine's lies, by their actions in this war. So I think it's what a lot of people go through, where maybe something was okay when they were a kid, but once they become an adult and they can look back, and in her case she's reliving it, you can go, wow, this was actually really horrific what I went through. This was not okay. What were the adults doing in my life? Although I have to say, I love seeing Anakin go to town on a little kid again. Just like old times. God, seeing Rex was so much nostalgia, and her going nuts on Mandalore, demonstrating how far she's come in her abilities, was amazing. No wonder they consider one Jedi better than an entire squadron. I did expect her to look a little bit older on Mandalore, but I understand they wanted to use the same actress. The actress is actually 16, so around the age Ahsoka would be. She just kind of has a baby face. Now, if I were to guess, the meaning behind Anakin's lesson, live or die, was because Ahsoka has spent her life running away from her past and rejecting the past, especially the part of her that is Anakin, for fear that she has him in her and she will also fall. And Anakin kind of pushed into that fear a little bit by going, yeah, you are all of me, and I was all of my master, and his master him, so you're just not me. You're yourself mixed in with all the masters before you. And the live or die was, you can give up now. Assume that everything you have ever done and will do is tainted or will be tainted. Or you can choose to live. Make the right decisions every day. Sometimes mess up, but always move forward. And I think in the final moment when her eyes turn red temporarily, showing her giving into her rage and pain and the dark side, and then her choosing not to kill Anakin and her eyes going back to normal, illustrates his entire point. She has the capability to turn to the dark side, just like him, just like any other person, but she always has a choice. It isn't some fate written in stone because you were trained by a certain person, or because you have so many characteristics of a certain individual that fell, which I'm hoping is a powerful message to some people watching. Every person has the capacity for great good and great evil, and we're mostly never on one side. We're always in this mucky middle with our daily actions ranging from not so great to maybe a little bit good. We get to decide each day how we choose to act and move forward. You're gonna fuck up, people, but if you hold yourself to your worst moments, then I hope you're also holding yourself to your best. This was such amazing closure for Anakin and Ahsoka, though I feel like Anakin's had plenty of closure. And we see afterwards, of course, Ahsoka's all in white. She's now Ahsoka the White, kind of like Gandalf the White. She is reborn through her trials, her tribulations, going through the fire. And you see her being a lot more lighthearted because she's finally let go of all that fear of what she will become and holding on to what she feels is all the mistakes of the past. Really quick, I think Jacen was handled so well. Him having force abilities and hearing the lightsabers was such a great moment. I'm wondering if they're setting up for future series with Jacen or even an adult Jacen. If he pops up in the Rey-centric movies they're doing, that would actually tie in really nicely. I kind of have a feeling that they're trying to move towards that, tying more of the TV shows into the future movies just to make it a little bit more cohesive, which is amazing for them to actually have a plan moving forward. So yeah, I would say this is probably one one of the best Star Wars content we've had in such a long time. It was such a moving episode, just absolutely gorgeous. Really helped bring some closure, not only for the characters, but also for people watching. You know, people that have watched the Clone Wars and saw Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship and how they fell apart, and then them coming back together in Rebels and having that fight. So yeah, just absolutely amazing episode.